not dropped. We got a whistle and a piston foul. It's on Kevin Herter. 4:16 to play in the first half here in downtown Detroit. Pistons with a 51-38 lead.
Nets can keep it somewhat right here in this vicinity. They'll be feeling good at halftime. It's almost like the Pistons the other night in San Antonio trying to hold the deficit without letting it balloon on them. And they did that for the most part.
That's how Oswald responded as well. He keeps going back and bro. Oswald said 2 days ago that he would consider having a conversation. Then he keeps doing the quick farming. It's just like speaking through clips. And it's been back and forth speaking through clips for like 2 years straight. Not Oswald, not Cheese's family. Oswald. Let's have the conversation.
51-40 Pistons.
I don't know if he's still considering it. I don't know.
They were up 16. Now they
But
lead
here's
by
a good
11.
example. Me and Nick have some disagreements, and we're going to talk about it. I don't think it's going to be a debate. I think it's going to be a civil conversation.
Marcus with the shot, rims out.
And no, it's not Mercy. The Yankees traded to Toronto. Okay? Nice in March postseason, nice in New York.
That's the Porter Jr. on the wing.
How's the passing going? How's Latin Ramadan going? A lot of work, man. Setting up these nonprofits, getting the charity right. You know, we're getting different foundations. A lot of work. A lot of work. He's scared of his son. I don't think Oswald's scared, but I don't think he's scared. I just don't think that he wants to. I don't know. But I'm not here with. I'm not trying to do a gosh show. I just want to have a conversation.
He got him first, and then he lost his balance. He called a foul prior to the slip.
It's live right now.
There was contact. They're not going to review.
What else are we going to do today? Professor Jang tomorrow.
Allen took his.
Professor Jang tomorrow. Love from Bangladesh. Come to Germany. Okay, we got a lot of money. Everything's good. Everything's good.
His left.
I'm sorry, slow. Sopranos repeat. What happened? Channel 5. Scheduling that. Oh, I needed somebody texting me to get back to. Non-stop. It's Saturday night. Oh, it's getting warm in the city too. It's nice and warm now. It's about 50 degrees. It's going to be 60 tomorrow. So maybe the IRS changes can return. And we'll probably need to be around security everywhere. I'm the best streamer right now. The basic kick is live. You're going to need full-time security now. Oh, no. Maybe the TCS, nope. I don't want to talk to you about that at all. Nice and warm in New York. Too hot in here. Thank you for the 10 gifted formerly AJ. And yeah, shout out to Muslim Lancer. That was a great call yesterday to Shia Gorilla. That was great. And the grind continues. Please make the stream bigger. How? Yeah, Lancer was great, man. He's live right now. He's gifting him sub. That's how proud of God. He's gifting him subs. He didn't see you. What am I, chopped liver? You didn't see my gifted. It's fine. Yeah, Bob is like, I don't know, he's looking a little bit. He's a little exhausted too. Have you noticed that? He's like, just really drained. His chat is always too big on screen. I like a big chat. I miss that big chat, you know, the fast chat when I was on parties. You know, the reason I didn't have the chat on screen during parties is that it was maybe so slow. I didn't have to do that. You know, fall off elevators and stuff. I like that big chat. Did you go to Catholic? I'm literally going to speak to the Catholic guy right now. So what are the things you can tell us? Is that 30 minutes? All the elite defensive teams in the NBA now, they just don't guard you. I don't know why you were live yesterday. Yeah, you're supposed to go on yesterday. Great. He said, somebody fell asleep. One dude playing. I guess I mentioned that I wanted to speak to Hassan Piper as well. One talk. I just want to have a conversation. I want to have conversations with people because this is very important time. I don't know about you guys, but I can't take so much of this stuff seriously, like other content. People are like sending screen drama and, you know, just everything else just seems kind of silly right now. But also, many people are not talking about the war at all. I got a car at this restaurant, and it's just, you know, I'm in this bubble. And, you know, you think it's the whole world, but it's really not. It's really not. I know, US Farm water plant, there's a lot of major updates. So let's go catch up with some of the news from today. Let's catch up with everything real quick. And who's going to be for the rest of the exam tomorrow? That should be great. Thank you. So here's what's her name? Kai Trump? Not Kai Cenat, Kai Trump.
She does what she wants, and she wants to.
Bro, what are we doing? What are we doing? Flexing war machines that you're not going to use. Flexing war weapons that aren't going to target you. It's just like these people are not going to fight in the war. One, like they're going to probably draft guys like their father or like their grandfather, but they're not even going to be part of it. You know, it is. I got to give credit. I think Hassan took it a little bit. He's like, I think Kai Trump should get drafted. I don't think she should get drafted. She's a nice girl. She's got a heart necklace, you know. But if you're not gonna go to war, especially the TikTok game is Kai Trump golfer. This doesn't look like a golf course. You know, if you're gonna flex the war machine, but I do think there's a valid argument that you should not do this if you're not gonna go to war. And there's more of these Trump files. I'm gonna go over some stuff that I couldn't sleep last night. I only did a 5-hour stream that fell short. And I was up all night doing research. A lot of Epstein files dropped. And I saw this one. This is from the new Epstein file release. This is a porn star. According to Jeffrey Epstein, porn star said, Trump said, I reminded him of Ivanka after sex. So what I've been going to keep saying is that Iran deserves to be firebombed because, Iran deserves to be firebombed because of the age of marriage. Right? Even though the age of marriage is almost the same as it is in America, and there's been 200,000 child marriages in the United States. Go down there, fact check there. 200,000 children in the U.S. over the last 15 years have married, right? So the justification is, okay, well, Iran is the real Epstein. Iran is the real Epstein file. But even Trump is saying, or according to Epstein, so the phone call that Ivanka reminds him of the false starting to sexual. So maybe that's why things haven't been released, but you can see the pattern. Chat was saying they're coming on the yacht with Providence tonight. Are they trolling? Yeah, they're trolling. I'm in New York and I'm doing war coverage in the Mid-Atlantic City. Drago and Flav, I'm not going on the yacht. That's a troll. Or just tell him I am. Keep trolling him. Keep talking.
What's wrong with you, boy?
I'm going to fly to Miami right now. This can make one test stream in war coverage, and I'm going to go on the yacht. That's it. The plan for today. Go on the yacht. Okay. But the pattern is that this is the obvious Jewish supremacist leverage that they have over Trump. Every time a new Epstein file releases implicating Trump with incest and pedophilia, the U.S. bombs more Muslims. Every email redacted is a reward for war. Every email release is a threat to peace. So Trump was very anti-war. He did not want to go to war with Iran. Then the Epstein files dropped, and only some of them. And it's like a teaser trailer. They're showing how much leverage they have over Trump, but also they are partially releasing them to push for more war. If you don't want to go to war, we're going to show all the incest and pedophilia that Epstein files and make you look like. So imagine if they have emails like this that they're just releasing now. Imagine what else is in there. This is brand new. This is not in the original bomb. And war's going on, so people are not paying attention to it, but it's pretty evil stuff. Today was a children's marching of Epstein. Wasn't as big. What do we do next? There's not much to do. You know, you should go to these protests, but there's a lot of bad infiltration and stuff. Just be careful. I think right now the most valuable Reese is fighting back the stuff on the internet. Are you botted? Am I getting botted right now? Thanks for the, thank you for the star. Thank you for the host. I'm at 15,000 viewers. Yeah, someone's buying me right now. We work a lot of work with getting botted. Let me just message quick. Hello, I think someone you botted me at probably have around 6, 7 K
What a play by J-Ron.
There you go, there's proof.
And oh, he missed the tongue.
Hold on, let me keep this over revenue.
He grabbed Short.
Let's show people what's going on.
There was no call. And then
6, 7
Short
K,
thought he got
not
fouled at the
15 K.
rim.
There you go, there's proof.
Yeah, he's got really good
Hold on, let me keep this over revenue. Let's show people what's going on. There's people. Not bodied? Do we really have that many people in here?
That's a clear path.
No, sir. I don't think so. Let's see. This is for the month of March so far.
No, you can't challenge. There's no call, right?
So far, March, $72,000. Yesterday, I made 5.3. Today before 12.2. This matches the new count that I think it happened. So, this is doing well. It's pretty good so far for March. $72,000 in March. I'll take that. Shit. The evil eye. I lose a lot of messages out of the team. Say mashallah. Workers, say mashallah. Say mashallah, don't it? Just keep the evil eye away. Just keep the evil eye away. That's probably not or that should make motion. Continuing on. I was reminded of this because Ron is getting firebombed right now. The airport was bombed. Dubai got hit again. The war's over in 24 hours in Dubai. Say Dubai to the war. It's over. But keep getting hit. Reminds me, do you remember the ball statue that the Iranians lit on fire several weeks ago? So right here is the pentagram 5.666 copper tattoo ball. And so they're saying, okay, well, there's an impending threat of war in Iran. You guys are going to get the CIA massage the state protest and say 30,000 people died for the protest the CIA was at. And they have the Israeli flag, Trump, and Yahoo, and the American flag. And this god, this demon god, was worshipped by the Semites. So when, there were all these problems in that region, modern day Israel, Palestine, and when there were all these problems, they started worshiping calves, they started worshiping pagan gods, demon gods. One of these guys named Baal. And so the belief from 11 Iranians that this is who people named Yahoo and Trump worship today, but they don't actually worship God. And so they burned the ball statue. Several weeks later, U.S. Israel, the Western regime, bombs Iran. And so if you understand that ball is the God that you worship in child sacrifice, maybe it makes sense why they bombed the school and killed 170 schoolgirls. Okay, you're going to burn our demon God where you worship your child sacrifice, we're going to target school. You're going to kill 170 schoolgirls. They're 74 years old. So the justification with that is close to military killing, but you don't miss like that. Look at the impact of that. This is the direct impact right on the school. And this is spiritual warfare. What I think is that this is retaliation. We're going to burn our demon god ball. We're going to offer more sacrifice to that god. That's the only explanation behind killing children. Something that actually was being so fond of. You've seen what happened in Gaza for the past several years.
Coming up at the half, Nancy Newman is back at our Yes Network studio. Break down the first half.
Zago said I'm high-key carrying the pick right now. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, take this promise me. I'll notify our mods right away to review the case, and if anything was detected, automated, it's going to be addressed and it's work. Thank you! And then we just thank you so much. I'll be right ready for work. Yeah, thank you, guys. I appreciate the very big time, my G. Oh, okay, the botting's fixed. Damn, I kind of like that view bot. Now it's back to 5,300. Damn. I kind of like the view bot look. This is... Maybe I should have switched to myself. It felt like war.
Fucking, I almost said something crazy.
5,300 and 1,300 on YouTube when it broke. Damn, man. Dang, man. The bot ore is gone. Well, here we go.
Damn.
So, yeah, I do believe there's spiritual warfare going on. It looks great, huh? Very close. Also, you see that this is the new Shah. So this is the exiled Crown Prince Reza. So the Shah was a monarchy that was in charge of Iran. The Islamic Revolution of 1970. They put the Shah in charge beforehand, and then it was replaced with the Ayatollah in 79. Beforehand, it was a monarchy. And so now they're pleased. So they're trying to install a new Shah that's probably going to govern Virginia, America. Yay! Iran's free. Iran's free. What is it, like a week later since Kaysan was like, shut the fuck up! Iran's free now! Okay, well now, what are they, we're gonna put Patrick Bet David in charge. Patrick Bet David is the new Shah. Also, Trump is saying that he's gonna steal all of Iran's oil Airports getting bombed. Tehran is getting bombed indiscriminately. Is Iran free? All these
Bro, how's he just
doing OnlyFans
skirting
videos,
past me, bro? Like,
stripping naked, like ripping off the burqa. Finally, we're free, and they start working on the flag. Is Iran free yet? What happened? I'm still waiting for Iran to be free. Well, at least you got PBD as your new Shah.
Please, welcome to the floor, the Memphis Academy. All girls, please.
This guy, I'm a Shah guy. I'm a numbers guy.
all right.
There's two things. Here's my prediction. One, we're going to figure out that a lot of these bombings that happened in the GCC, some of them were Mossad false flag attacks. I think there's been some reports in Saudi that they saw Mossad agents trying to plant bombs. But in order to justify a ground troop invasion, my prediction, mark my words, within the next several weeks, there will be a Mossad-style 9/11 attack in the GCC. Could be Dubai, could be Kuwait, could be Qatar. Probably Dubai. I hope not, inshallah it's not. But that's my prediction. I was wondering if it was going to be in America. I don't think so. I think they'll be too on the nose if it's in New York again. I think it's going to be in the GCC. Because there's many different reasons why. One strategy could be to separate the Muslim Ummah right now. Try to separate Shias and Sunnis. And two, they're going to need this to justify ground invasion. Troops on the ground, boots on the ground. They will need some sort of 9/11 false flag. And a good way to differentiate is if an attack on a military base, like Iran has been doing through the GCC. They're attacking CIA buildings and they're attacking military headquarters. If it's an attack on a lot of civilians, which U.S. Israel actually was even proven that they do, just like with the school, 9/11, and so much we've seen in the past 20 years. If it attacks civilians and civilians die, a lot of students that that's not what their main focus is. It's probably in the South false flag attack to justify U.S. troops in the ground. I think they're going to lose this. They have been preparing. They're trying to push propaganda about troops going in. And Americans are not going to be supportive of that unless there's a false flag attack. Inshallah, it doesn't happen, but this is my analysis, and we'll see if I agree with it about this. I said I was right about the Epstein files dropping. I said they were going to go to war in Iraq. And they just dropped another teaser trailer, right? A new drop just came out. And that always means more. That always means more war. Innately, Trump doesn't really want to get involved in this. But he's being pressured into doing this because they're showing the leverage they have over him. And what's super interesting is the narrative from Alphabet. Why I want to have this conversation? Alphabet keeps saying, okay, age of marriage in Iran is 15. Even though in America there's been 200,000 child marriages in the past 50 years, and the age of consent in most places is 16 in America.
Digger, Tigger.
Ivanka, great ass, allegedly. Great ass, great figure. If she wasn't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. Khomeini never said that. Khomeini never said perhaps he'd be dating his daughter if it wasn't his daughter. That was fun.
Yeah, because he would have cut her fucking head off.
Talking to Howard Stern saying, great figure. She got a great figure on her. She's 6 feet tall. What I have in common with her the most is sex. What do you Trump say? Said, Trump, what do you have most in common with Ivanka? Sex. What? Allegedly, in my opinion.
Allegedly, in my opinion. Did he say it or not, motherfucker? What is that?
There's more Epstein file drop. So here's from the FBI. Redacted wanted to know why nothing was being done in regards to the information she provided about Donald Trump. Expected things to come out now regarding Trump. Had a friend in Florida who used to see Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump together all the time. Said Trump was actively recruiting girls. Whether it was for him or Epstein, she did not know. Blank advised Trump stayed behind the scenes because he has other people. Blank knew there were videos found at Epstein's home. When asked how she knew this information, Blank advised that she had read about it. Blank is scared if Trump is reelected and saying, this man is a monster. Said there was a ring of girls who were threatened. Blank felt she was threatened indirectly by people who claimed to work for Trump. When asked how she knew all this information, Blank responded that she had seen the documentaries on Epstein, and that is how she knew all this information. And so this is getting lost in the noise quite a bit. This would be major worldwide news. Everybody would be talking about this if it was not wartime. But it's Mossad dangling their leverage. Dangling the leverage that they have. I need some water. Water. Alright guys, you can stop talking about the viewers, bro. I just reported it's a kid that's going up and down, someone's throttling it, obviously. Let's just move on. We know what they're doing. Well, this is what's happening in Tehran right now. Let's see, Kaysan is DVD. Kaysan especially, is Iran free?
Holy shit, that looks like hell, bro. What the hell?
It looks like hell.
Yo, exactly. Like, what the fuck?
Let's see if there's an AI check.
That is insane. That's like, what the fuck are you complaining about? You gotta get up and go to work. You gotta pay some taxes. You gotta fucking worry about fucking gay or trans propaganda. Like your problems are not. Oh my god, bro.
Multiple sources, including AP News, Ryan,
Most Americans are so fucking disconnected from the world. Like, take everything for granted. Take all this shit for granted. Like, you have it made, bro. Holy shit, you have it made. Holy shit. It's what, like, how many countries are in the world? Like, fucking hundreds?
I don't know if Ozzy was ever going to cover this stuff.
Or at least 200?
Like, to look back on now, especially because
you got the lottery ticket to be born in the United States. Yo.
There's just no excuse for that. There's just no reason you would ever talk about your daughter that way. There's just no justification.
Far from protecting his daughter from being talked about as a sex object, he has encouraged it multiple times. On Howard Stern's radio show in 2004 and then again in 2006.
By the way, your daughter, she feels
what the fuck?
She's actually always been very voluptuous. Saying his daughter has actually been very voluptuous. So, yeah, he's protecting, he's meeting with the leader.
It gotta be a skit, right? There had to be a skit, like.
Doing that stiff arm handshake. Look at this. That power stuff. I think he got mobbed though. Angola, President of Paraguay, stood on business. Get mobbed by Paraguay. Okay, what did Osmond say?
wants that? I mean, are we really saying this? I mean, what is it? Why are we doing this?
What's going on? Like, you know this is retarded. Everybody knows this is wrong. What are we doing? What's going on? Why are we playing this game? It's so obviously wrong. I don't even know what's happening.
Okay. You got a lot of questions. Let's just talk, dude. How many more of that?
I on this hill, just stop it.
Not on this. Again, let's speak about it. Because the differentiate, he's saying that Iran is inherently evil because of what they're doing. So here are the stats. Wrote this down yesterday. According to Independent News, more than 200,000 children in the U.S. married in the last 15 years. There's no legal minimum age of marriage in half of the country. 25 states. And of these children married, 87% were girls. 86% of these girls married adults. The youngest to marry, 3 were 10-year-olds. Right? And they need parental consent, approval of the judge. And it's in the poor rural religious area, mostly the Bible Belt. Mostly the Bible Belt. Woo! And this is from the Vatican. you know, just we're going to keep it cordial with Nick. I don't want to do debates during the night call. But here it is. I don't know, are there Gorkers in here, Crisis King? This is a statement from the Vatican, October 28, 1965. Look here. The Church regards with self-esteem also the Muslim. They adore the one God, living and subsisting in himself, merciful and all-powerful, the creator of heaven and earth. The Vatican is saying Muslims worship God and God alone. Who have spoken to them. They take pains to submit wholeheartedly to even his inscrutable decrees, just as Abraham, with whom the faith of Islam takes pleasure in linking itself submitting to God. Though they do not acknowledge Jesus as God, they revere him as a prophet. They also honor Mary, his virgin mother. At times they even call on her with devotion. In addition, they will wait the day of judgment when God will render their deserts to all those who have been raised up from the dead. Finally, they value the moral life and worship God, especially through prayer, almsgiving, and fasting. So the Church, the Vatican Church, does not say Muslims worship Satan. In fact, they say that we worship the Father. This is important. A very important distinction. Especially now we've been learning about a lot more about the Chabad sect of Judaism. The holy war that Pete Hegseth is trying to tell soldiers that they're fighting. This stuff is very important to remember. Not change the narrative. The FBI reports and comes to including their own photos. Here's Jank Substack. I'll read this later. From hijabi drama. Okay, we don't even need to watch this, but like a lot of hijabis are upset about this. And it's funny because like they're doing TikTok, because Aki Ayman was talking about how it's not a journey. The hijab is not a journey. And you know, I'm not even going to get in this conversation. I don't really think it's my place to get in there or whatever. You know, I'm far from perfect. We're all on a journey, right?
Oh, fuck.
Jobs, I'm not better than them. But it's just funny that they like labeling me a Nazi. Like that's the tag here, Nazi. You know, like what makes me a Nazi? And Bill Clinton is still being questioned about his Epstein files. Apparently he's flirting over here. Has Bill Clinton still got some game?
I didn't say anything for anything
No,
personal.
you didn't, but you had a great tone in your voice, and you were very good at it.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. I
It is a compliment.
Thank you, and I did not put a yell off for anyone.
This horny ass nigga, bro. It is a compliment, sweetheart. I'll take you to the island right after this questioning.
Also, for that matter.
Well, the Alzheimer's, or the, what is it? Shaking the cup from old age. Oh, Bill.
For that matter.
So there's more scenes out of Tehran. From the airstrike. What weapon is that? What were they possibly using, bro? Doesn't look like a round three to me, but that's what Jason wanted. Here's the Dubai Tower being hit. The war's over in 24 hours. It's over. Retweet when I'm right. I'm absolutely, utterly sure of it. Iran's clout chasing. Is the Marina Tower in Dubai? Yeah, Marina Tower hit by a drone. Funny though, looking back, well not funny, but looking at this compared to 9/11, like hitting the same spot the World Trade Center was hit, but it's not crumbling. Why is this not crumbling like the World Trade Center? But Dubai is still getting there. And let's look back, because the narrative is that Muslims follow backwards religion, right? That's what Alpha Gold is saying, it's backwards, it's white, it's child marriage. Okay, well, let's look here. This is during the 2024 campaign. Here's Howard Lutnick, next door neighbor and very good friend of Jeffrey Epstein, allegedly.
Bro, I gotta turn that shit down even more, bro.
Like, this is just not Christianity. What is Christian about this? So here's more of the news. You know, we're staying up to date with everything. Someone said, what else can you talk about? I don't see anything else worth talking about right now with this.
Like it's a fucking war going on.
Let's see, what's the Fox News narrative about the war?
So let's think about what has happened. Let's list it out. So we took out the Iranian regime leader, the Ayatollah Khomeini, and then 40 of the top leaders. We degraded their military. You can see we've been laying that out all day, all morning. We've because they've decided to attack their neighbors, and we've kind of unified them behind us. So that's kind of worked in our favor to some degree. We've outed fake allies, Spain, England, right?
They're calling it a victory that the UK, well, Keir Starmer's posting edits of helicopters, so it's confusing that they're saying the UK is a fake ally, but Spain has refused to fight this war. W Spain, by the way, they're calling it a traitor. Shout out to Spain. Maybe the caliphate will take over Spain again. But no, Spain standing on business and refusing to fight a war for Israel. Some real ones over there. Shout out to everybody in Spain.
Should we ever help them again? This is a way to reveal that. We talked a little bit about the insurance.
Yeah, but it's so crazy that's one of the lists of the victories. We outed the traitors. Wow. You outed the people that don't want to die for it.
Situation for ships coming across the Strait of Hormuz. So there's that angle as well, which is very interesting. So to me, this already looks like victory. And so I say let's declare victory very quickly. So let's think about
declare victory, but they still haven't said an end in sight. But boomers will believe this. Declaring victory, but there's probably going to be troops from the ground. We're suggesting that Israel strikes Iranian oil infrastructure. We're taking all the oil. We're going to free Iran and take their oil. Hegseth again. Hegseth is, this dude is, every day he just surprises me with like the amount of evil things he's saying. These are some of his hand gestures.
Peace through strength. The far too long
Peace through epic war. Epic fury is peace.
These games was only on borders and far-flung places.
P! Rare W Hegseth?
On borders and
Rare W? Huh?
far-flung places.
Nah.
Not our own borders, not our own hemisphere, not the Western hemisphere. Peace through strength.
Funny. And looking back, I think we had great calls with some Shias the past couple days. I spoke to Shia 2-3 days ago where he got some things incorrect, and I don't want people to get angry at him. And then we spoke to 2 more Shias, and they clarified what they think of the Sahaba and what they think of Aisha. And then I spoke to the Hussein, the guerrilla Shia, for lack of a better, I kind of like that name, guerrilla Shia. And he said some great things. But look, here's Khomeini back in the day giving respect to Malcolm X. You could go. Is it Rare W Black? Okay, Malcolm X is the GOAT, undeniable GOAT. And I saw this video from Farrakhan. It was Nation of Islam, but even if we disagree with some of the stuff, I think the video shows some good unity, right? Let's take what he's saying at face value. You see Farrakhan? I don't know if he still is. Okay. How old? He's still alive. Farrakhan's 92 years old. I don't know if he still is Nation of Islam instead of just Muslim, but let's see what he says.
Prophet Muhammad never said he was Sunni. He gave us the Sunnah. He never said he was Shia. But through his daughter Fatima, he had Hussein and Hassan. Now come on. He never said he was Hanafi.
Oh my God.
Shoot me. That's your stuff. Be what he was. He was a Muslim.
Bars. I love the way in the 60s black people like this talk. He never said he was Hanafi. He said he was Muslim. He wasn't Sunni, Shia. That's your stuff. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said he was Muslim. He's right. Let's remember that. Did Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, did he ever say, I'm Hanafi, I'm Shia, I'm Salafi? No. So it's sunnah to just say you're Muslim. I'm Muslim. I'm not Shia, I'm not Sunni, I'm not Hanafi, I'm not Sufi, none of this. I follow the Sunnah and I say I worship Allah. I'm a Muslim. I love that. It's a great point. Great point. I'm just a Muslim. Nick texting is almost ready right now. Remind us, Sue.
He said, talked about the woke right. He said, I call it the woke right. That's a brilliant the woke right, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke.
Regulated. They're part of the woke right. The woke right. Even though Hitler, he wasn't bad because of the Havar agreement. He allowed the passage of 70,000 Jews into Palestine. The final solution was really the Muslims. Hitler wasn't even that bad. He was regulated. He didn't want to exterminate. The Muslims really wanted to exterminate. I love King Burger.
Okay, so here's some more from the Epstein file release. Got lost in the news today. I fully believe that Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile. You know, I think a lot of the victims that came forth, a lot of them were 14, 15, this stuff. I've seen the disagreements, but this video does kind of vindicate.
How do they know that's a young girl, though?
I mean, look, you can say she's playing dress up, and there's far more you could do, the whole compilation.
I wouldn't doubt it, but she's literally fucking boxed out.
This is from the DOJ's March 6th release. Should be heavy censorship.
Motherfucker.
Okay, it's not credible. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Good thing we verified. Oh, next one, let's call him up. Say, okay, I corrected it. Damn, nigga, fuck. Everyone's so happy to defend Epstein. I made a mistake.
No, it's not defending Epstein. It's defending the truth, buddy.
Damn, bro.
It's defending the truth.
Oh my god, you fucked up. Okay, let's call him. Let's call him.
You don't defend people, you defend the truth, buddy.
Hello, King Gordon. How you doing, man? What's up, man? Long time no see. Doing great. Good to hear from you on your day off.
Yeah, we were supposed to connect yesterday, but I fell asleep. So, but what's up?
Not much.
Hey, wait a second. Is that red?
You can wear red.
Oh my God.
It's not pure red. And at the time of the Prophet, they were trying to make a distinction because the enemies were wearing all red, so you weren't supposed to dress like the enemies were wearing all red. But as long as it's mixed colors, if you have red and there's another color, it's okay.
Okay.
Why did you explain yourself
all right,
like
just
that?
Just checking.
5 minutes, not even 30 seconds in, I'm getting haram.
Oh, police.
I'm just kidding. It's okay. I know. We like the color red.
I saw, did you see a clip from Bob? He's like, I love seeing Nick and Chico go back and forth. It's super funny. You know, there's been lots of clips. And I appreciate you taking this call because Osmond Gold, for example, he said a couple days ago he considered talking to me and just communicating through clips. I think when you have disagreements with somebody, we have a lot of more agreements than disagreements, I think. So maybe it's important to talk about this stuff, so I appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. The back and forth is it's kind of funny because we're just clip farming each other on each other's screens, so we might as well just do it, just sit down and do it.
Yeah, so let's start with some of the points of contention, right? We agree that Goyim should unite, but there are some, you tweeted 2 days ago saying, liberal, and my point of view is that it's not really about left and right. I do want to work with you and not have J.D. Vance win because the GOP has made so many mistakes, and I agree. I'm not a Newsom supporter, but I think it makes sense that they are punished for their blatant lying. And, Newsom, although maybe he's saying for a populist movement, he's saying some things that I agree with. He's saying that Israel's an apartheid state, and he doesn't seem to be in agreement with this war. So I will unite on that and support you there.
Yeah, I mean, my playbook, though, I do want a Republican to win in 28. I just don't want it to be J.D. Vance or anyone from the admin. Kind of the structure of it for me, very simply, is I want Democrats to win in 26 for the only reason being that they are going to slow down the administration, because the administration's out of control. They're at war with Iran. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility they drop a nuke on Iran or, something crazy like that, boots on the ground. And so I want that to stop. I want the Epstein files delivered and, all this other stuff. There's also just a lot of stealing. There's a lot of embezzlement, a lot of corruption inside this government. Kristi Noem was basically fired because that is going to become a big problem. There was a big thing in the Wall Street Journal about how, I don't know what exactly it is, but there was some $200 million payment, and she's involved with one of the contractors that's going to be building the wall, something like that. And I think that he let her go because that's going to be maybe an issue if the Democrats have oversight. So I want the Democrats in purely because they're going to grind this admin to a halt. In 28, though, the goal is I want Vance and Hegseth and anybody that's in the admin to go down with the ship so they can't win. And I want a Republican to win, but a good one.
And the distinction that I want to make is the difference between people like Hegseth and Trump. I saw you talked about how I spoke about the pastor putting his hands on Trump and they're all kind of preying on him. And I think that the evangelical Christians that are saying the Bible says God must bless those who bless the state of Israel, it makes no sense, and I don't see that as any part of Christianity. And, I come from a Catholic background. I grew up Catholic, and it seems like the Catholics and Orthodox understand that rebuilding the third temple is not a part of Christianity. I saw Tucker do a really good deep dive on the Shabbat sect of Judaism and what this war could potentially really be about. And so there's a clear separation that I think needs to be made between Catholic Christians, Orthodox Christians, and these warmongering evangelicals. I'm sure you've seen the report of soldiers that were told, and they're complaining that Hegseth was saying Jesus was anointing Trump and shining a light on him to protect Israel and to bomb Iran. So they're trying to turn this into some Armageddon holy war. Hegseth has these crusade tattoos on him. He has the copper tattoo, which we believe is going to be written on the forehead of the Antichrist. Hegseth is not like, or anything that he's doing is not Christ-like at all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my only issue is I see Judaism and Jews as the source of evangelical Protestantism, or not even, you could get into that, you could go into like where that comes from, the Masoretic text and things like that, but I mean, in terms of the dispensationalist theology, this whole idea that those that bless Israel will be blessed, I look at that as basically an outgrowth of organized Jewry. And so I guess I just don't like when it always goes back to, Muslims versus Christians. They say Muslims are backward, but Christians are backward too. They say Muslims do this, but Christians do it too. Christians are decadent and degenerate, Muslims are holy, and it's going to be Goyim Unite that we got to train the target on Israel, because they really are the ones, obviously they're using the Christians to bomb the Muslims, and the more that we lean into the antagonism between Christians and Muslims, the more we play into that. So, especially since, so I know before the war in Iran started, you know, there was a little bit more contentiousness, but especially since the war in Iran started, we have to really make a concerted effort not to get caught up in that. Because, like, in New York, I'm sure you saw that Jake Lang guy, that Jewish guy, is out there antagonizing everybody, saying, oh, Muslims are goat fuckers and blah, 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 and someone threw a nail bomb at him. And obviously, you know, Muslims maybe are prone to do things like that or whatever, but it's like he's inciting that and antagonizing them to get that response because he's a Jew. He wants Christians and Muslims to fight. He wants to provoke an attack, some kind of racially charged incident, so that there is maybe more public support for boots on the ground in Iran. And so people like you and I have to come together and say, no, nobody wants this war. Not Muslims, not Christians. It almost needs to be a little bit, you could say, even irrational. Like we have to really strive to overcome. Because like I said, even just now, it's like, did maybe some punk, like, counter-protester try to attack this guy? I think that's possible, but you almost have to say, like, okay, but they're playing, that guy is playing into their hands. Both Jake Lang and the guy that made the nail bomb, they're both playing into this thing, and people like you and I have to really make an effort to resist that and overcome that, even if it's a little irrational.
Yeah, staying away from that division. I mean, there's an equal possibility that this was a setup, that this was part of the plan, that maybe this was somebody hired, but also blaming this guy who was throwing a nail bomb on all Muslims is ridiculous. Blaming heat headsets, warmongering, hatred on all Christians, right? Because Protestant Christians dominate America. They are the majority sect of Christianity in America. And evangelicals are the ones that dominate the White House, that dominate D.C. right now. It's not Catholics and Protestants. The majority of people around Trump, they are with these pastors, and the same pastor putting his hand on Trump. He's the one saying, the angels are coming, the angels are coming. This stuff is, it's just completely ridiculous. And my point is that they're using Christianity, and it's false Christianity. They're using it to justify this war. So I want to see a complete separation. The same way that if there's a guy throwing a nail bomb, this is not representative of Islam.
Yeah, well, yeah. I suppose it isn't. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But I mean, look, so if the nail bomb is representative of Islam, then why can't we say, and I don't think it's true, why can't we say, like, America's a majority Christian country, majority is Protestant, majority is evangelical.
But see, we're doing it. They got us doing it. Now we're doing it.
My point is that we shouldn't use these as examples to attack the entire religion. It's not representative of what it is.
Okay, I'm not doing that. But see, now we're doing it. Why are we talking about this now and not... Well, let's just say, all we need to say about it is this. This incident was a deliberate provocation. A Jew pretending to be a Christian. Maybe the guy's a Muslim. We don't even know who he is. I'm willing to believe he's not a Muslim, let's say. But he's clearly some kind of partisan or an operative. Either way, these two people, there's almost a symbiotic relationship between, even if it is a Muslim who is whipped up by the moment, angry, low IQ, whatever, a guy that would do something like that, he is becoming an unwitting pawn in the game. A Jew pretending to be a Christian, antagonizing some Muslim who's maybe a punk or whatever, or an operative, and they together are creating an incident that will galvanize everybody, because it's like, look, the Jewish guy, Jake Lang, he goes into New York, trying to offend Muslims, and the Muslims are saying, hey, what the F? This is outrageous. He brought it to Zohran Mamdani. He did a pig roast outside of Zohran Mamdani's mansion, and Muslims are saying, well, we're being provoked. We're angry. Surely many of them see what's going on. Maybe some of them don't. And the same is happening with Christians. This guy's going and provoking, and a lot of Christians say, this guy's deliberately antagonizing Muslims. He's trying to incite violence. There's a lot of Christians that don't know, and they say, oh, yeah, let's stick it to him. Oh, look, a Muslim did a nail bomb attack. That's so whatever. So people like you and I, like I said, we just have to really make an effort to isolate the problem makers and say, look, what we don't want, we are in a war with Iran. Forget about these protests and counter-protests scuffle in New York. We're at war with Iran. This is apocalyptic.
everybody needs to be really just focused on that. That's sort of my point.
Yeah, the main focus needs to be on the overwhelming Israeli control, like the Jewish supremacists that have convinced Trump that Jesus anointed him with a light, accessed in the holy war, and Ted Cruz, that interview with Tucker was so telling, citing this, and even that verse could be misinterpreted. People are saying that he's not actually saying Israel, he's saying it was the son of Abraham, but they're using that semantic error or misunderstanding to say that, oh, it's actually the state of Israel that was founded in 1948 by the Rothschild family. That I want to see more people call that out, because that's the justification they're using for this war. And I saw there was a lot of outrage, and of course you have disagreement over the Times Square prayer, but that is a clear example of how people get whipped up and angry about something so insignificant, right? 200 people praying in Times Square. The next day, Jews take over Times Square, and they broadcast all over the TV stations the Antichrist. They're doing a Mashiach now. They're doing a rave party, jumping up and down with far more people, far more police. Even in Lakewood, New Jersey, they have their own police. They have their own hospitals. A good example is how angry they got about Somali daycares. And you see Tyler Oliveira gets banned on Patreon for exposing a scam that is much bigger. Right, so I see all this outrage on Times Square prayer, but almost no talk about the Antichrist celebration. Because what we agree upon, Catholic Christians, Orthodox Christians, is that the Antichrist is the jaw. We have the agreement that Jesus is the Messiah, that Jesus will return. And so many of these people have manipulated and changed it and directed the outrage onto Muslims and getting people whipped up about the Islamic takeover of America. How, even though Muslims are 1% of the population, this is a new tactic to dehumanize Muslims, so that when bombs do drop on Tehran, they killed 170 schoolgirls. They reported 1,000 civilian casualties in Tehran. It's that Americans see this and they think it's something that's cool, like a Call of Duty game. I'm sure you've seen the White House edits. They're playing like football tackles and then a bomb. They're hitting a baseball and then a bomb's going off. This is tricking so many boomer Americans, and no disrespect, a lot of them probably do go to those Erica Kirk, Kenneth Copeland type megachurch celebrations where another Trump pastor with this giant sign that says Epic Fury behind him, and they're thinking that this is part of a greater holy cause. But I want people to stop falling for the obvious race bait directed at who's actually taking over our country.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And it's almost surreal to see how much the anti-Muslim thing is now at the fore, because it went away for a long time. I remember that when Trump got elected the first time in 2017, or got inaugurated, ISIS took over the Middle East, and there were ISIS terror attacks in the United States and Europe. And so Islam was very much at the center of the conversation. And then, almost mysteriously, it disappeared. ISIS just like vanished into thin air. It seemed like for 4 years they were unstoppable and there were terror attacks all the time. And then almost overnight, it's like a switch was flipped. Then there was no more terrorism. And then that issue faded into the background, and we became preoccupied with Russia and China and the pandemic and BLM and immigration, basically every other issue. And then basically right on schedule, it's amazing how this happens. After October 7th, all of a sudden it's like, oh, Islam is taking over America. Oh, Muslim terrorists. I saw today, my old colleague, now enemy, Patrick Casey, he did this video about how Tucker Carlson is smuggling Islam into right-wing conservatism. Now, for context, this is a guy who I knew many years ago who was like a white nationalist. And he was a so-called dissident right-winger, far-right, activist, whatever you want to say. And we would have looked at that kind of rhetoric as propaganda. We would say, oh, no one's trying to smuggle Islam into the right wing. We would say that's Jewish propaganda. We would say that they're obviously trying to create this, they're fear-mongering and create this spook so that it would generate anti-Iranian, anti-Hamas, whatever the particular enemy is, it would gin up support for war. And now to see basically all the dissident right-wingers kind of taking the bait on this. They're all doing it, and they're now saying, oh yeah, it's Islam. They all sound like Laura Loomer. They all sound like Mark Levin. And, I've said it on my show, as a Catholic and as a American nationalist, I don't think America's a Muslim nation. I don't want tons of Muslims to live here. Those are my views. At the same time, you also recognize that that's actually not the biggest problem. The big problem, as we've talked about with immigration, is coming from Latin America and Asia. That's the illegal immigration. That's illegal immigration. The Muslim immigration is mostly refugees from the wars, which, and then, you know, beyond that, it's like, what's a bigger problem than immigration? That we are being sent to kill and die on behalf of a foreign country. I think that sovereignty is actually the number one issue. So as long as we can achieve understanding on that basis, we don't need to, like, obviously there's a discourse between Christians and Muslims, and we don't agree on everything, and there is some friction and some tension there. We don't need to be best good friends on that basis, but we can have understanding that we're being played and that we both actually have a larger opponent.
I agree completely, and I do think that Catholics and Orthodox Christians have far more in common with Muslims than they do with this evangelical sect that seems to think that war is necessary, war is holy, is part of this bigger issue. I would want to see more of a distinction there between so many of the good Christians that are, because, you know, Gen Z Americans, and you deserve a lot of credit for this, there's been a big awakening. Far more people in Gen Z that are not drinking alcohol, and also there's a big return to the church, which I think is good. You see how publicly backed James Fishback, he's a Catholic, you know, he has a very strong Gen Z support, but what he's losing is the boomers. The boomers are still eating up that goy slop propaganda about, you know, how Muslims are evil and they attend megachurch. But predominantly from Gen Z, the youth, they see straight up what's going on, and they're not falling victim to it. So again, I don't know if you agree, but I think, you know, people like Hegseth, they have far more in common with Jews, and people like you, I think Catholics and Orthodox Christians have far more in common with Muslims.
Well, I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, we are three distinct religions: Jews, Christians, Muslims, and you know, I want America to be a Christian country. So it's not necessarily, yeah. It's more that at this point in time, we almost need like a ceasefire, basically, because we are in a state of conflict. Like, Muslims and Christians are in basically a ceaseless state of conflict because they're two competing claims. And we can't pretend that's not the case. I mean, if Muslims take over a country, like, let's say for the sake of argument that Muslims outnumber Christians, they're going to want Sharia law, and they're going to want non-Christians to pay a tax. And if Christians take over a country, like if we're in control of America or whatever, Christians are not going to take a shine to a Muslim call to prayer in the middle of a town, because we're going to say that's not the correct religion. So it doesn't help to paper over the differences and say, hey, it's all fine, we're all, because eventually something's got to give. It's just that for right now, in this particular time, specifically right now in this war with Iran, we almost just need like a truce and a ceasefire to say, look, like, we can resume the dawah versus the evangelizing another day, because right now these people are trying to rebuild the third temple by blowing up the Dome on the Rock and destroying Iran and getting everybody out of Gaza, and that's going to fuck with everybody, because where are the Gazans going to go? Where are the Iranians going to go? They're going to go Europe, here, that's something we don't want, and they want to stay there. That's something that as Muslims they want, and so that's sort of the framework that we need. It's very important, because if we kind of have a shoddy framework where we say, oh, Christians and Muslims have all these things in common, and Muslims are great, and Christians are great. Like, you can't really say Christians are the best because you're Muslim, and I can't really say, you know, Islam is fine because I'm Christian. But what we can say is, right now, the biggest threat to both of us is not each other. So if we're sober-minded about that, it will be easier, I think, to work together.
Right, and that's part of the eschatology. There's videos of rabbis saying that they need to have Christians and Muslims at war to destroy Europe so that they can take over the world. And I should probably put Reese here. You two, I'm going to end someone over to pick up conflict.
Ethiopia.
Gold is extremely happy about this war and about the results that happen. So you bomb a country, people need somewhere to live, but if you supported the war, you cannot also blame the people that now have no place to be.
Yeah, well, and what's funny about it is you see these people, like you're talking about, not even just Asmongold, but I even think about people in the administration, and they're trying to do this like, it's almost like a George W. Bush era jingoism where they're saying, look, war is cool. Like, if you're not on board with the war, you're a pussy. And it's like the Freedom Prize thing. Spain isn't supporting this. So Trump goes, we're not doing trade with Spain. Spain's their actual ally. They're an actual Catholic country. They are very left-wing. However, that's our civilization. And there's some rich irony there that the same administration that says, it's Columbus Day, damn it, it's not indigenous, it's Columbus, then we're going to embargo Spain because they don't support our war against Iran. But they're trying to do that, they're trying to recreate that kind of, you know, in the name of the red, white, and blue kind of thing. And then you go, okay, but what happens every single time we go to war? They come here. We fight them over there, so we don't have to fight them over here, but then we're going to bring them all here anyway. Syrian refugees, Afghan refugees, Iraqis, whatever.
Damn.
And I noticed a lot of these people in the admin, they go, yeah, well, we're just not going to do that. We're going to bomb Iran, we're going to bomb Gaza, and we're just not going to let them in. It's like, you don't really have a choice. One, they do it all the time, and two, it's not really up to you. Stephen Miller, at the end of the day, has no control over what happens in the long term. This happens every time. It's like, I'll give you a perfect example. When Trump was in power in the first term, he had John Bolton as the national security advisor, and they had this maximum pressure campaign against Venezuela. And they shut down all the oil, they wouldn't let them sell oil, and that's when Venezuela got really bad. That's when everybody was eating rats and they were starving. And in that time, 6 to 8 million people left Venezuela. Many of them came here. In Trump's last week in office, he gave them temporary protected status. He said any Venezuelan that comes to America will not be deported. They will be shielded from deportation. The last week in office, Biden gets elected, and what does he do? He brings in 4 or 5 million Venezuelan refugees. And so all these Republicans, it's just like deja vu. It's like we go to war, and we go, no, but we won't let any refugees in this time. They lose the election, a Democrat comes in, and they bring in all the refugees. And you go, what the fuck happened? Then they go, well, vote for us. We'll build a wall. We're going to send them all back. We get another war. We're not going to take refugees. Democrat comes in. So it's just like we have to get out of the cycle here. And that's my thing. It's like people just got to see that this is the pattern of history and try to break out of it.
That's why I keep reiterating this year, although I put God first and that geopolitically, I am America first, right? You mentioned earlier about Sharia law, but the idea of the Constitution, freedom of religion, free speech, this stuff, it really does not overlap with Sharia law at all. The Sharia law is not consistent with the core American values that the Founding Fathers wanted. So, and I love this country, I love America, and you brought it up perfectly. Like, you know, I am an artist, I want to make the movies and stuff. It's not compatible with the, you know, really hardcore fundamentalist Islam. So this is why I prioritize this country, why I'm trying to fight for it. You know, Ben Shapiro, your best friend, and well, enemy for so many years, he is pushing what you brought up, this idea that it's a left-right issue. Like, oh, these liberals don't want war. Oh, the libs mad. You see the MAGA movement, they're posting videos of Iranians stripping naked in the West and immediately getting naked on Instagram to celebrate Iran being free, even though they're getting bombed so much. And they're like, oh, these liberals are going to be so mad about this. And then you're like, wait, this is the conservative right? So why are they the ones parading around the fact that women from Iran no longer are covering themselves up and dressing modestly? Now they're free to open up an OnlyFans. This is who is supporting the regime change from Epstein Empire and, you know, supporting their own country being bombed. Them turning it into a left-right issue is part of that slop and why I separate from that, because I don't want to be boxed in and let people think that it's anti-war or pro-war. You know, it's just really, it's not right and left, it's right and wrong. This war is wrong. It's not a partisan issue.
I agree. I agree with that. I would say, though, to me, I still think there's value in right and left. I just think we need a realignment. I'm very interested in a political realignment where we say, like, we want the right wing to be the party of, or the Republican Party, whatever. We want it to be the party of a certain set or suite of policy ideas versus the left. And so that's why I'm interested, for example, in voting Democrat in 26 and then coming back to the Republican Party in 28 to see if we can get a candidate that will almost shadow what we did in 26, or even in 24 for that matter. In other words, we want to send a message to the GOP that, like, if the right wing is going to be pro-Israel in favor of regime change, then we will not be a part of that grouping, you know. And so I just want to change what that grouping looks like, because on the left, unfortunately, there is a left wing in America, and I think that you and I fundamentally are against the left in America. Like, I'll give you an example with Zohran Mamdani. Yeah, I know he's Muslim and you like that, and he's America first, and or in a way, he said that on the stage.
He is America first.
In some ways. But at the same time, he's also out there, like, being pro-trans. And he's also out there saying maybe we need to tax white neighborhoods to give more benefits. Like, these are things that I fundamentally oppose. Yeah. It's just that if we could get an actually nationalistic right-wing Republican Party, then what is the left going to be left? They're going to be left with mass migration, trannyism. And so I basically want to keep those issues, or I guess at this point, reclaim those issues for the right wing. Because that was what Trump tried to do. Trump tried to create a political realignment in 2016 where he said now the GOP is going to be the party of anti-war. The GOP is going to be the party, or at least anti-neocon. We're going to be the party of the working class. We're going to bring the jobs back with protectionism and tariffs. And we'll also be anti-immigration. That is the mix that I like. The problem is Trump has backslid, and now it's like Trump is virtually indistinguishable from the old GOP. Now we don't have the tariffs. We have a form of mass migration with H-1Bs and student visas. We have a war in Iran. We have this policing anti-Semitism, weird evangelical stuff. It's like Trumpism is dead now. So I'm interested in bringing that back. I think that right and left is useful. It's just that it needs to be realigned. It needs to be altered a little bit.
I agree. And there's another separation where you made a very valid point that you think that Iran would lose because of the Westerners infiltrating. Right? And a good example is that everyone that the MAGA movement is parading around, these traitors that are celebrating their country being bombed, they are programmed obviously with what you said was Western values. If I'm not mistaken, I want to discredit that, but the strength that Iran has is the religiosity, is how they band together, this concept of martyrdom, fighting for the truth. It's bigger than nationalism. It's something that's core to their entire way of life, that this is a greater battle. And a lot of them were definitely awakened after the assassination of Khomeini. Right? This follows into that line of thinking. And you said that their downfall would be the traitors from within. It could be the Kurds, it could be the people from the southeast, the different ethnicities in these groups being brainwashed by what they see on TikTok and Instagram about how they need to be liberated from the restrictions of the burqa, that they would be the ones to fight the Ayatollah, fight that stronghold of religiosity from within. And so what you indirectly said was that the Western values, that American values, even though that's not core American values, but what it is right now, and even the propaganda that they're spreading, is bombing Muslims, it's, war is cool because it's a Call of Duty game, epic fury, and liberation of women. They should get naked in the streets. And you also actively pointed out that this is why China restricts that media coming in from the West, because they don't want the trannyism to infiltrate and program and make their people weak. Right? There's a testosterone problem in our country. People are having less children. A lot of times they have more dogs than they even have, single, or they have nuclear families with children. This is a clear problem. But the distinction, like when I say this, a lot of people say, they say like, oh, you hate America. You hate it. No, I love America. I love what the founding fathers were about. I love these core values, but it's been subverted so much that what can you even define American values as now? if you look at the White House page, it's football, boy slop, and bombing Muslims. It's the women opening up OnlyFans because they got freed from the Ayatollah. So I think that the difference is, and obviously, the brown clown idea has been in circulation a lot. When I say it, it's like, okay, you hate America, but no, I see the problems and I want to fix them. And like you said, I think there should be a new right and there should be a new focus on what our core values are.
Well, I think that the reason it comes across a different way is because it always goes hand in hand with the promotion of Islam. It's always like, well, the West is degenerate, Islam is holy, the West is hypocritical, Islam, they don't play this way. And we got to be honest that the Muslim world has a lot of the same problems. Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, what do you think their elites are doing? I mean, are their elites praying 5 times a day? They're drinking, they're smoking, they're doing all the same stuff we are. They have been corrupted by the same forces that our society has. Our elites are not meaningfully Christian. I would say that in some of the biggest Muslim countries, their elites aren't meaningfully Muslim. And so I guess it always comes down to this, it's always this comparison. The West is decadent and degenerate. Islam is holy. The West always fights each other. Islam doesn't. And there just should be maybe, some recognition that, the Muslim world has many of the same. There's a lot of division there. There's a lot of infighting and there's a lot of hypocrisy. It should just be something like, let the West be the West. If you want to critique the West, say the West should return to its illiberal roots, because you also identify Westernism with liberalism, and that's not really wrong per se, but the West does have an illiberal tradition. You do have Catholicism, you do have reactionary politics in the 19th and 20th century, and so I guess people don't like this idea that everyone's now going to convert to Islam. That's the only reactionary force in the world. It's Western liberalism versus illiberal Islam, and we all got to be like your buddies. I'm not going to say who, but it's like we're sick of the West, so now we're going to join up with these other guys. Because for me, when I say I'm against the decadence of the West, I'm saying we need to get smarter as the West, like we used to be, stronger like the West used to be. We need to put ourselves first. We need to be a little bit more protective of our culture. We need to be a little bit less open to the outside world, less tolerant. And we do need to reassert the religious core, which would be Catholicism, not Islam. So that's where it maybe rubs me the wrong way, is it's always, you guys suck, we're great, you guys are evil, we're these wholesome Chungus guys just trying to pray and everything. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to get my whole civilization shit on. That's where I think people get defensive.
I want to ask you a question about the liberalism. I think Mossad attacked and the voice is messed. Let me call you right back. 1 second.
Oh, okay.
All right. What happened? Thanks for the sub, Warner. Let me call him right back. Is the voice still messed up? Let me see. Can you guys hear? Is it still? Sub, Warner. Let me call him right back. It sounds fine now. It's fine? Okay. I think we're fine now. Let's check. Can you tell me if the voice is better?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
You can hear me. I just want to see if they've been throttling. I saw. Did you see us get Did you see both of our Wi-Fi got attacked at the same time the other day?
I did. Yeah, that was crazy.
And Suleiman as well. He all got hit at the same exact time. There could be some sort of throttling there. So you said earlier, it's good. Okay. You said that it can be described as liberalism. So, I did endorse you back in 2023, Fuentes Rally 2. I said Christ is King, which I still do. I got a lot of criticism from that, but I do believe that in a sense. It's like, because Jesus will return. Jesus is the true Messiah. There's not